Good day. My name is Deborah. I'm going to be taking you on SharePoint sites and site collection. So you're going to understand what site is about, and I'm going to give you practicals on how to create a site and then what a site collection is. Okay, so a SharePoint site is a platform where you collaborate with other people in an organization and you create documents here. You also have web parts in this place. It's a place where you share news within the organization and it lets you store, organize, and share access information from any device. You also collaborate with your colleagues real time. You save documents here. You can access the documents wherever. Your SharePoint is also connected to your Teams. And when you create a Microsoft 365 group, you have a SharePoint site that comes from it. You have a Teams, you have your shared mailbox. So you can use the SharePoint site for many responsibilities, I would say, in the organizational way. And then it also connects to your OneDrive. From your OneDrive, your personal OneDrive, you can access your sites and your document libraries. You have permissions within a site, you have document libraries. So as I am explaining to you, I'm going to highlight to you I'm going to highlight this to you. So let's create a site first of all. Let's see how a site is created. So here you can see the theme site. Select the type of site you want, track and stay updated. Okay. So do you want a theme site? Do you want a communication site? There are also other kinds of site. You have the classic site. That's the kind of site that was used before SharePoint introduced the modern site. So you have that. You also have what you call the document center. You also have the team site that is connected to the Microsoft 365 group connected. So that's a team connected group site. And you have the team site that is not connected to Microsoft 365 group. So I just explained what Microsoft 365 group entails. I said it comes with you have your shared mailbox, the team site, and others, and you can manage it. You can manage it you can use it to manage your calendaring, and it gives a lot of other benefits, but that's not our main focus for today. So let's go ahead to create our site. So you can see when I clicked on that, it brought out different templates. So when you want to create your site, you have different templates. And also, if you do not want any of these templates, you can actually import your own template. But that is more advanced, I would say. So let's just go. It is possible for you to import template you want if you have created your own template that you want for your organization, then you can go ahead with that. But I'm just going to choose one of this. So let's go with crisis communication template. So you can see what it is for. If it suits what you want, if it's onboarding, you want to manage crisis that it depends sometimes on the department you have within the organization or whatever you want to use it for. So you can see here it's saying the site capabilities can manage ongoing crisis using the project plan list. And so Microsoft has put all that into this template. And so let's use this template. Let's give it a site name. I'm going to call it crisis management site. So site description to manage crisis. It's not compulsory you put this to manage crisis in an organization. Okay, and let's remove this one. Group email. So it will create a group email. crisis management. That's the name of the group. So site address, you can see the site address, the domain name, the site / crisis management. So who is the group owner? You have to put an owner of the group. So one of the users I've created would manage the group. So I'm going to put myself here. So I'm going to add myself. So okay, time zone, what time zone are you using? So depending on your time zone, are you using West African time zone or whichever, you can see all the time zones here. So I'm okay with this. And then storage limit for the site. If you are okay with the 25,600 gigabyte, all this, the default site for each of the site collections that you create. If you leave it at this, all the other sites also use the same gigabyte. So as the more you upload documents, the more you create more content, it's going to be taking the space, and automatically the space is going to be managed by SharePoint till you have reached your limit. And there are places to check that, but that's not our focus for today. So I can put 3,000 or 2,000 gigabytes there, and then let's create the site. So do you want to add a member? If you want to add members of the site, you can add them, and if you don't add them here, you still have the opportunity. You can always add your members later. So let me see. Okay, let's add this, and then one member added to the site. So finish. Okay, so let's refresh our page. So we can search here, or we can just we can search here for, okay, can we see here? And so let's scroll here to look at one or two things. Team site, channel, storage used. We've not used any. And then, okay, group owners, primary group owner, no, it's not a offsite. Team site, yes. So created by me. And then, can you see Microsoft 365 group connected? So this is a Microsoft 365 group site. And if you do not want to create a Microsoft 365 group, let me start with this first. So external sharing on. So these are some of the additions that the site has. So I'm going to launch the site from here. If you don't want to launch the site from here, you can always come to your SharePoint landing page. If you launch this, it will also take you to your SharePoint landing page. You can always launch your site from here. You can search for it from here. However, so since we have this, let's come here. We are going to launch our site. And then while I'm doing that, what is a site collection? So a site collection is a collection of the pages you have within, all the different pages you have within your site. So in the site collection, you have you have unique, you have pages, you have permissions, you have groups, you have calendars, you have the different pages, because a site is a collection of different pages, I would say. So as this is launching, I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain it further to you. It's a collection of different pages. It's a collection of different pages. You have your calendars, you have your pages, you have your web parts, you have your permissions, and then you have your content organization. So it's a structure, it's a hierarchy, I would say. and then it consists of the landing page, that's the top level site, like what you have here, and then you have subsites. You have a subsite. I'm going to show you a subsite. A subsite, when you create a subsite within a site, SharePoint is also about permissions. You can remove the permission of a subsite. When you say sub, that means it is sitting under or within a site. You can remove the permission of that subsite. You can stop inheriting permission from this main site. So you can have different subsites within a site. So that's why it's called a site collection. Everything is still sitting under this. You can see my cursor here, crisis management. If I create a subsite, it will have another subsite name here, and then you can just launch that directly. And so it is possible for different users to be within a site, and they don't have access to the main site, or they don't have access to another subsite. So each site collection itself is contained with its own unique settings. It has its own unique settings. It has its permissions and features. So it makes it a powerful way to manage and organize content. So we have our crisis management here. I'm going to come to the top right hand cursor of the top right hand of my screen. I click on this, and then you can see the the settings within the SharePoint. You can add a page here, you can add an app, you can see the site content, site information, site permission, apply a site template. So site usage, site performance, change the loop. So there are many interesting features within this. And then you can see we want to create something new. If you want to create something new here, I'm going to close this. You can click on new if you want to create a list. So I'm going to open them. List forms, document library. If you want to create a page, a news post, a plan, and an application. So here you can see latest update. There are some features that come by default with a site. That's what you have here. Let's look at latest update. I'm going to open each of them so that you have a better understanding of what it contains, or what they contain rather. Okay, so this is a bit slow to launch. Let me come here, project plan. If you come to the top, can you see my cursor here? Okay, it's launching project plan. And then while that is launching, let me come here to the other web page of, okay, let's come here. I'm going to remove this because what I wanted to do was take us to the landing page. Remember, I talked about the landing page. So I told you, if you remember, I said you can launch your landing page from here. If you come to this place, if you come to your app launcher, it's called your app launcher. If you click on SharePoint, it will bring you to your landing page. So I'm bringing us back here now. So this is a root site. It's called this aftermath.sharepoint.com. It's called the root site. So this is your root site. It's a communication site. And then within it, so the root site also contains subsites. It has subsites within it. It can contain subsites. And then okay, so I just want you to have a feel of it. Let me click on the landing page so that you see what it looks like. That was actually the root site. So sometimes you can identify them from here. Aftermath.shady. So I'm launching this. Okay, this is where I wanted to take you to. I said you can also launch your crisis management from here. Can you see your crisis management? So you have other sites here. So if you want to click on see all, you can see just have a feel of what it looks like. This is your landing page. So let's come back to no, not the communication site now. Let's come back to crisis management. Okay, it seems okay, great. So this is the project plan. I want you to look at, so this is the list project plan. Project plan is a list. That's what it's telling you. This is a list. So it comes by default is one of the lists that come by default in this site. So you can see your work description. If you want to now edit it, there's no need for you. If you want to add another what do they call it? You have your metadata, you have your columns. If you want to add another column, yes. So you can add column. And if you don't want to add a column, yes, you can see text, choice, date, and time, more, all the column names you have, different kinds of columns. And so if you choose date and time, it will come with calendaring, you understand? So you are going to enter it in the calendar feature. Let's see. So name is calendar or date. Let's just call it calendar. Include time, no. Friendly description, more options. You have more options there. So that is that. And then if you want to edit it, you come here, edit in grid view. Edit in grid view. Okay, this is editing grid view here. So if you want to add an item, you add it here. You can see. So some of them have multiple choice columns. This one is a choice column. That's why you have it like this. So I'm just giving you, this is a list. This is an example of a list. You have your documents here. Let's see what documents look like. If you want to add a new document, you can see folder. You want to create a new document from the scratch. This is it. Excel, new PowerPoint, OneNote. So if you want to upload the document to, you have the option to do that. You have your recycle bin here. Okay, so let's come back to let's go back home. That's the landing page of our team site. So let's when the gear setting comes up. Okay, so here, let's see, list. Let's click on the lists page. So this one I showed you was a default list that came, but now we want our own list. So from gallery, so these are new features that have just been added again. So remember that Microsoft always adds new features to their the software they have already so that they will keep being trendy and keep giving their customers top and new content so that they will be up to date with the world and not be out of date. They will not become obsolete with their applications. So employee onboarding, you can see the different kinds of lists that you have. So you can create from blank if you want a new one that you want. But if you want a template, a list template, you can see Microsoft has created them. They have default templates for you, and it depends on the one that suits your preference. You see event itinerary. Are you an event planner? You can choose this. Are you what do they call them? These travel people that manage travels for people or they book traveling for people, asset manager, recruitment. So you can just choose the one you want. You want to own an apartment, let us choose that. So what does he have? Pre-populated and design choice pills for which okay for features, neighbors, and rating columns, apartment one, features, neighborhood. These are the columns that it comes with, the default columns, link to listen notes. Okay, so you can choose that. Apartment hunting. So it's just giving you a feel of what it looks like. So if you create that, so you can edit in grid view. Oh, have you found a new apartment here? Oh, so what is the monthly rent? So you can just compare. When you compare the prices, you can now say, oh, I want A, I want B, I prefer this. So that's just one of the features of your list. So now let's go back home. Okay, so let's leave that. Let's go back home. Let's come back to the new the gear called new, and let's see what we can choose again. Um, List document library. So if you choose document library, so your document library also has some templates. Resume repository, learning, invoices. So from your organization, it's saying if you have maybe you have custom document libraries one, or you have document libraries you imported, or you have them from your classic there are some people that have had SharePoint for maybe a long time before, there is SharePoint online, there's SharePoint on premise. So some people have had SharePoint for some time and they've had it as at the time when it was still um in classic. Now it's because we're modern, they call it classic, but at that time that was the SharePoint. So they have preferred to continue using those features, those document libraries. So we have them here. So if you want to create a blank from Microsoft, these are the templates it's giving you. If you want to choose resume repository, so your document library, you can see the columns. You have a candidate name, recruiting pay, degree, and all that. So you use the template if that's what you want. So it's asking you what's the name. Okay, so let's go for that. So sensitivity labels, that's for another day. That's for another day. But I put none here because we don't need that now. So it brought me to another page. So you can see site, crisis management. So resume repository, that's the name of the document library. So you can see the columns that it has, the default columns, primary, hiring manager, target role, reviewer, candidate. So this is interesting. If you are an HR, if you're an HR person, or you are the owner of an organization, so you can just edit in grid view, like if you want to add. So we don't have any document here already. So even if I edit in grid view, there's nothing to, so that's why it's not highlighting. So I'm going to exit grid view. So let's go back to so if I don't want to go to home, I can just remove this and go back to crisis management because that's the name of our site. So I'm launching it again, or I'm relaunching, and then you have news post, news link, page. If you want to add a page, so you want to add a page, let's see, building a COVID response. See, these are new features again from Microsoft. So just to suit, there's nobody that cannot use it. If you're a photography person, if you're an arts person, if you are a diver, if if you're a sports person, it's just flexible. If you're a business person, if you're an engineer, it just works for everybody. So can you see product, event announcement? So you can just play around it, workplace overview. So what kind of page do you want? If I apply this page, it's going to change the default page, except I want to create another. Okay, you can have different pages, then you can now apply one page as change it to the home page. Let's see workplace overview. Share information about the physical location, provide important, so I'm reading from here. Provide important location details, okay? So let's scroll down and see amenities and okay, let's use this. What does it refer? Create private draft. So let's use this one. So is creating the page for us. So maybe I should just open two here so that it will make it faster. I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to put this here. Let's open it here too. So while this is loading, let's come back here And I'm going to take you to the gear settings here at the top right hand side of my tab. Let's go to, so here shows two members. The members are myself, and if you remember, I added Ewa Oluwa. So we are here. These are the members. If you click on this, let's click on this one. It's talking about, okay, we are not signing in or signing out. Help, provide feedback, next steps. So let's click on the settings. If you want to add a page, we saw that here. If you remember, let's still go to it. So the new page, okay, good. So this is our page here. Side page, parking. Are you okay with it? So if you are okay with it, let's publish it. The page title you create will be used in the page's URL. So the title, site pages, I did not give it a title. So it's just blank site pages. So what's the page? Okay, let's give it a name, parking lot. Let's publish. Okay, save and changes saved. Let's publish it. Okay, so can you see? Can you see here? So it seems to have picked this, but let me see if we updated. Okay. So this one, if you look at it, it's showing PAR, but here it's showing so version history. That means it picked the first one that I added. So this is the name of the site page, parking lot. So let's go back to home. So you have a site page you've created, and you can always apply that site page if you want it as your own page. And within that site page, you can create different content. So now let's come back here. Okay, that was what we did, the add a page. So it just comes in a different format or a different feature here. Let's see. Welcome to team onboarding. So that's about, you can, okay, scroll down here. Let's close this icon. Okay, select video. You can see what this one is telling us, training leads. So let's create a page again. So while this is launching, let's come back here to our settings gear. If you want to add an application, if you want to add an app. So now adding an app in SharePoint, let me explain. From your SharePoint store, you have different sites. Okay, let's go to the classic. See, we want to see there are still some features of Microsoft in classic experience. For their own best reasons, they decided to, like you can see there, these are SharePoint store apps allowed by your organization. Built-in apps such as custom lists, document library, calendar, and others can be found in classic experience. So for their own best reasons, they thought it better to just keep these features that I just read out in classic experience. But classic and modern rather, everything, they are still in the same SharePoint. So it's not like it was phased out or it's just sitting there, but they created modern. So you can also still create your document library from here. This is in the classic experience, how to create your document library. You can see tasks, custom lists, site mailbox. You can see links and all that, calendaring. If you want to create your calendar, you have others. Let's come here and see. You have external list. Okay, so let's go back. I actually want to go to the SharePoint store so that you can see the applications. If you want to add an app to your SharePoint store, So I'm going to be rounding up now. You can add apps here from your SharePoint store, and then let's come back to your home page and okay, so here at the settings gear, at the top right hand side, site content and site permission majorly. I just want to show you about site content and site. So here, this is where you create your sub-sites. You can see different features here in your site content. You have your documents, form templates, resume, site assets. You have all that. So if you want to create a sub-site, this is where you create a sub-site. Let's go back up. If you click on sub-site, I do not have any sub-site here yet. So that's why it's showing nothing. But if you come here, if you want to create your sub-site, you can create a sub-site here. This is where to create a sub-site. So let's go to our settings, our permissions. I want to show you permissions now. Oh, okay, sites / crisis management. Yes. So here, okay, while this is launching, let's see if, okay, so you have something called site settings. This is how your site settings looks like. Manage site features, enable configuration. You can do a lot from here. And site collection administration, where the administrator manages some features, some important features, including search. And then let's come back here. Let's come to the gear icon at the top right. You have your site permission. So you can manage your site permission from here. You can manage who has access to the site. You can see site owners. They have full control, site members, site visitors and all that. And then you also have what you call the advanced permission settings. So if you come back to active sites now, you can also create what you call your communication site. So your communication site is a site that everybody has access to, like I always say. Your team site is just supposed to be your for each department, but the communication site is supposed to be accessed by all. Just like the name implies, it gives communication about what is happening. It makes it easy to share company-wide information with many or all employees. Okay, who is celebrating a birthday today? You know, everybody has their birth dates when you are inputting you are onboarding your new staff. So now your communication site gives you, when you it will announce when you add your calendaring web part. It's going to be, oh, today is Morire's birthday. If you have new information, oh, today is CSR, corporate social responsibility. Let everybody come out to go, So that's what your communication site is about. And if you remember, I showed you how to okay, you can just relaunch this, or I should have clicked the app launcher. So you can create your communication site from here to, if you want to create your communication site. So that can be accessed by all and everybody. This is it. And then these are the these are the templates. And then let's go to the last one, the upside. So the offsite is a centralized, is a central site in SharePoint that connects and organizes related sites based on various organizational attributes. So when they have maybe the same role, similar roles, we can now create, maybe you have 5 team sites. Maybe for a department that is very large, you can have 3 or 4 sites, and then you can make one of them a hub. That means this one is a centralized one of those 4 hubs, and then you can always go to it. So it is based on projects, departments, or regions. If you are in 4 different regions, for example, but you are in the same department, you can make one of them a hub. So it helps users to discover related content and also site activity across all the associated sites. Within those 4 associated sites, you can create a more cohesive intranet experience. So in the next lesson, I'll show you how to what the offsite is like. So I'm going to round off for today. I hope you enjoyed the class, and I would want you to subscribe to Techie. Not even subscribe, you should enroll for your course, the course you are interested in with Techie Academy. So you are going to be taught more of this, and you are going to be not just shown practicals, but you are going to have a good understanding, and you will be able to be a SharePoint administrator yourself. Thank you and have a good day.